So you wanted me to do the bin bag thing, so this is that video. And this is all the ways I can think of in a quick video that bin bags can be used as an educational resource. And this is how, as an unschooling parent, I've been home educating my kids for 12 years, along with other resources other than bin bags, obviously. So let's get into it. So the first and most obvious thing that comes to mind when I think about bin bags is waste disposal. This leads very quickly into an environmental discussion about how we get rid of our waste. Do we recycle enough? Is the recycling effective, etc. We could talk about different technologies and tools that are being developed to get rid of waste, such as that sea vacuum thing that is sucking up all the plastic at the moment. We could also talk about some of the social issues that are caused by unethical waste disposal, such as waste from privileged companies actually being shipped across to be dumped in other countries. And of course, that could lead into all kinds of discussions about privilege and politics. We could talk about why we need so much waste disposal and about consumerism, capitalism, materialism. It would obviously be great to hear what kids think about this and any ideas they could come up with. The next thing that I think of when I think about waste disposal is how those jobs are actually viewed in society. And I think it'd be a really interesting discussion to have with children as to why we look down on certain jobs if they are messy or dirty or dangerous, and also why those people do not get paid as much as other people like footballers who are not doing anything that is particularly messy or dirty or dangerous. So a general discussion around why we view jobs this way. One activity that could be really good with kids is getting them to guess how much different kinds of jobs are paid. So carers, for example, I've said in multiple videos, can't imagine a more valuable job than a carer, but they're some of the lowest paid professions in society. So I think that could be quite a good activity to do with kids. So the next thing about bin bags is obviously what they're made of, plastic. So it'd be good to look into why we use plastic and what it's made from and its different properties, all the different types of plastic. Obviously, if you wanted to go really sciencey, you could break it down into the molecules and again the impact that plastic is having on the environment. It'd be cool to get some YouTube videos about it, about like the plastic islands that are now being created in the ocean and the effect of microplastics on our ecosystems. Bin bags are also a good starting point to talk about hygiene. Obviously, we don't want rubbish sitting around getting flies onto it, so it'd be a good time to talk about health, biology, germs, and then you could go pretty left field with a bin bag, which I quite like. So you could, for example, ask a child to estimate how long they think they could get one piece of plastic from one bin bag and then cut the bin bag and see how long they could actually make one strip of it. You could also ask them to design a costume entirely out of bin bags. You could see what the heaviest object that they could drop using this as a parachute would be. Perhaps they could make one that would stop an egg breaking if it fell from a certain height and then see what that height was. They could use it as a waterproof lining to make a small little pond in the back garden. They could use it to make dolls' clothes. They could cut shapes out of it and use it to make art, like silhouette art, obviously, because it's black. You could also talk about the heat properties of plastic and how it will insulate things. You could do an experiment where you have ice and you wrap it in plastic and you have ice not wrapped in plastic and see what happens to both. And then you've got the actual product of the bin bag being sold in shops. So you could talk about why there are different brands of bin bag when a bin bag is essentially a bin bag, how those different bin bags are marketed and how those products are marketed to make people buy different ones. You could talk about why they're sold in rolls and is that a good way to transport them? Is it the most efficient way of transporting them to get the most in a truck as possible? You could look at the actual roll of bin bags and the paper tag on them, or whatever tag it is, and talk about the graphic design involved in that. You can look at the ISBN number and talk about ISBNs and how they work. I'll leave it there for now, but that is just a general idea of how unschooling works, how anything can be an educational resource. I've done it before with just random stuff I've grabbed out of my glove compartment, so if you want to comment an item, I'll do another video. It can literally be anything and I'll tell you how I would use it as an education resource.